This lesson will focus on giving an overview of the pins from side control that will be referenced in this series. Future lessons will weave them together in a system geared on obtaining the mounted position. Which pin you use is dictated by your opponent's movements, escape attempts, and your goal from the position. If you are static with one pin for too long, it may increase your opponent's chances of escape if you are unable to adapt when things don't start to go your way. It is essential to practice moving from one to the other in a fluid motion. Although each pin is different, you will notice variations on a familiar theme in each of them: control of the hips and control of the upper body. Some pins are easy to establish and serve as a temporary starting point in which to move to other pins with more control. Other pins can be difficult to achieve and require patience and technique before you can get them. In this classic pin, both of my knees are on the ground placed as wide as my flexibility allows. My right knee is tight against his hip and my left knee against his arm. It is of huge advantage to get my knee under his armpit, though your opponent will also know this and avoid it at all costs. If you are flexible, you may place your knee below his hip and have the lowest part of your quad blocking his hip instead. Blocking his hip with any pin is important, and if his hip moves, my knee follows. My left hand goes under his neck for shoulder pressure, and my hands are clasped together hand with hand to control his upper body. To some degree, my right elbow immobilizes his hip movement in the other direction. This pin is so widely used due to the fact that it is often the first pin that you are able to achieve once you have landed in side control. When working transitions between the various pins, try transitioning back to this classic pin. Once you have established the classic pin, it is advantageous for you to sprawl your leg closest to his head outward. This lowers your hips and is more difficult to escape as a result. Notice how even from this angle where you cannot see the leg, you notice my entire body weight lower slightly. If you can enter side control and immediately use this pin, do so, but you may need to be in the classic pin for just a moment before being able to achieve it. Be certain you do not sprawl the incorrect leg because nothing will be blocking his hip. This next pin is the pin I will always look for from side control. I will place my right hand to block his hips, and with my knee's newfound freedom from that task, I will use it to sprawl slightly so that I may drive my entire body weight into my cross-facing hand. It is difficult to jump immediately into this pin, so I almost always must use the classic pin prior to moving into this position. This pin is explored in depth in future lessons. The modified scarf hold, also known as Keisugatami, is an effective pin that can neutralize an escape attempt, help secure a good leg to arm position, and has many submissions. My right arm maintains an underhook, while my left arm grabs behind his tricep. My right leg scissors through, and my left leg is rooted to the ground for base. Be certain that you're not wasting any of your body weight by placing any of your weight on your butt or your legs, even though they may lightly touch the mat. Concentrate all of your weight through the right side of your body and onto his chest. Make sure that the pressure is higher on his chest for the maximum control, and keep your head low to avoid reversals. The north-south pin is excellent for neutralizing a hip escape attempt, setting up submissions, and transitioning to the other side. There are several arm placement variations, and I have chosen this basic variation. When your opponent forces you to move to north-south, place your left arm over his head and keep it tight to his back. Like in a previous pin, I must block his hip with my right hand before transitioning so that he cannot follow me or escape. I then move my legs and my right arm slides tight against his body so my elbow is in his armpit. Though in this variation I have one elbow under his armpit and the other over his shoulder, there can be armpit and armpit, shoulder and shoulder, and shoulder and armpit. Each has different options, both for myself and my opponent. The last pin is the reverse scarf hold. This pin can be challenging to achieve because you must slide your butt underneath his arm and have his arm trapped behind your back. Your opponent will know this and prevent it at all costs. This is a very powerful position for mounting if you can get it. In this segment, my opponent is letting me achieve this position for demonstration purposes. To move to this position from the classic pin, my shoulder pressuring arm must go on the other side of his head as if I was moving to north-south. My left leg sprawls slightly, and then my butt opens up his arm and gets under his armpit. My left knee follows his hip wherever it may go, and my right leg is rooted to the ground for base. A nice feature of this pin is that my opponent has trouble seeing what I am doing.